Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Reading Sunday worship service. My name is Andy Gatchell, and I'm a member of the worship arts team. My pronouns are he and him. We choose to share our pronouns because we know that people of all genders are whole, holy, and loved. We welcome you here today on this gorgeous day we've all been waiting for, except maybe for the pollen, as we join together to create a space where we nurture and explore individual spirituality, build a committed and loving community, and help heal the world. If this is your first time with us, we are so happy you have joined us. Please visit our webpage, uureading.org, to learn more about our beloved community. There you can connect with our staff. If you're new here in the sanctuary this morning, please come to me. Well, Melissa's not here, so I can't say a part. Okay, after social hour, and I'll find someone who can tell you, like Beth, about what goes on here. Today's worship leader is Reverend Laura Randall. As the Director for Congregational Relations at UUSC, she facilitates partnerships to strengthen the impact of the UU Service Committee and the social justice reach of UU communities. Prior to joining UUSC, Reverend Laura's ministry included serving as the Legacy Campaign Director for the Unitarian Universalist Association and hospice chaplaincy. She lives in Medford, Mass, with her spouse and their 2 dogs. And now, let's take a deep breath, settle in, and welcome Reverend Laura to our chancel.
Good morning. Good morning. Our opening words today are from the Reverend Jamie Yandel. We come to this community with the quiet truths we carry and the futures we're brave enough to write. In this circle, we honor the courage it takes to live openly, the softness that sustains us, and the joy and power that grow when we gather. In the embrace of this community, may we feel the steadiness rise in us. May we trust that our becoming, messy, radiant, unfolding, wholly belongs to us. I'd like to invite my colleague, Massey Williams, who is the intern this year at UUSC. As we light our chalice this morning with Unitarian Universalists all around the globe, I invite you to call into your heart the flame you kindle this morning, the flame of truth, of community, of commitment to love and to justice. Please join me in reciting our chalice words, which can be found on the laminated sheets with the hymnals behind the pews. In the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment, we gather this day. May the flame we now kindle be to us a symbol of the holiness we seek. Each week we recite our children's affirmation as a reminder of the most important elements of who we are. Yay! Please join me in reciting these words. We are Unitarian Universalists, the church of the open mind, the loving heart, and the helping hands. Thank you. I invite you now to rise in body or in spirit as we sing our opening hymn, number 108, My Life Flows On in Endless Song. Number 108 in the gray hymnal.
I morning. If any young folks or anybody feeling particularly young at heart would like to join us for a story this morning. We're going to read Red, a crayon story. He was red. But he wasn't very good at it. Olive says, "Oh dear." His teacher thought he needed more practice. "I'll draw a red strawberry, then you draw a red strawberry, and you can do this, really." But he couldn't really. Like this? Oh my, let's try again. His mother thought he needed to mix with other colors. "Why don't you two go out and draw a nice round orange? A really big one, a really orange one," says Olive, yellow, and red. His grandparents thought he wasn't warm enough. "Your class is making self-portraits for parents' night. Wear this warm red scarf," says Silver. "Nice, it's so you," says Gray. But it so wasn't. "Oh, dear me," says Silver. Everyone seemed to have something to say. Amber says, "Sometimes I wonder if he's really red at all." Hazelnut says, "Don't be silly, it says red on his label." Cocoa Bean says, "He came that way from the factory." Fuchsia says, "Frankly, I don't think he's very bright." Grape says, "Well, I think he's lazy." Army Green says, "Right, he's got to press harder." Steel Gray says he needs to really apply himself. And Sunshine says, "Give him time, he'll catch on." And Sea Green says, "Of course he will." But he didn't catch on. Green drew a green frog, and Black drew a black sheep, and Brown drew a cow, and Red, well, he drew a blue ant. All the art supplies wanted to help. The masking tape thought he was broken inside. "This will help hold you together," and he taped up Red. The scissors thought his label was too tight. "One snip should do it." "I thought he wasn't sharp enough." But even with all our help and all his hard work, he was still drawing blue. He just couldn't get the hang of it. One day, he met a new friend. "Will you make a blue ocean for my boat?" "I can't, I'm red." And they said, "Well, will you try?" So he did. "Thank you, it's perfect." "You're welcome, it was easy." And he didn't stop there. He drew blue jeans and blue bells and a blue bird and blueberries, a blue whale, and he said, "I'm blue." And he was red, well, blue, and everyone was talking. Olive said, "My son is brilliant." Amber says, "Who could have known he was blue?" Hazelnut says, "I always said he was blue." Cocoa Bean says, "It was obvious." Berry says, "His blue ocean really lifted me." Sea Green says, "All of his work makes me happy." Brown says, "His blue strawberries are my favorites." Apple Green says, "He's so intense." Yellow says, "I'm going to make a green lizard with him, a really big one." Gray says, "I hear he's working on a huge new project." And Scarlett says, he's really reaching for the sky. And he really was. Yeah, Ethan figured it out. He was already drawing the sky. Yeah. Holly? Red. He is actually blue. The orange one says what, and yellow says uh-oh. So he really kind of figured out who he was, didn't he? All right, my friends, you're going to go to Community Day, I believe, downstairs, a game day. And I will leave you with this. Don't follow where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. Have fun. Thank you.
Okay, before we completely transition, there was something I forgot to put into the script. Please silence your phones. As I learned last week, if your phone has a temporary mute feature, you put it on temporary mute for 2 hours to prevent you from waking up on Tuesday and finding out there's a reason your phone hasn't been ringing. Okay, so. We take time during our service to light our candles of community, peace, and justice. We light our red candle of community to signify our interconnection wherever you are in time and space, newcomer or longtime member, here in the sanctuary or joining us virtually. We light this candle holding you in love. As we light this candle, I invite you to speak aloud the name or names of people who are on your mind and heart today to bring them fully into this space. We light our blue candle of peace for all of the places worldwide where people live with the threat of war. And specifically, this list keeps getting longer, Gaza, Sudan, Ukraine, Iran, and countries in the Saudi Arabian Peninsula where war and violence are raging. And we light our yellow candle of justice. Today, let us raise up the recent assault upon people of color, but especially our black brothers and sisters who had their voting rights taken away by the Supreme Court. As well, let us bear in mind, as our statement on indigenous lands found towards the end of your service, end of your order of service, reminds us that we all walk on sacred land that was taken illegally. May all people of all identities and from everywhere live their lives in love, in peace, and in a just world. May we each do our part in the work for peace and justice and for all in our global community. Let us voice our commitment to the work of love, peace, and justice by saying, Amen. Amen.
Let us stay in the spirit of prayer and reflection. I offer this meditation by Kimmy Floyd Reish. Beloveds, we were never meant to hide in closets and we were never to be spoken of in whispered corners by a world filled with others afraid of their own reflections. We are from the flame of Channing's truth, Olympia Brown's relentlessness, and Lou Alcott's defiance of societal expectations, and Thoreau's solitude of freedom, freedom of solitude. We are here, heirs of a theology that says love is love. The soul is not gendered, that covenants to live in hearts, not courtrooms. Laws can be cruel and narrow, but our faith remains wide, widening still more until every child hears their pronouns in liturgies, and every parent of a trans child hears the entire congregation reflect back, "You are not alone," in the face of their fears. We have always been here, from pulpits to picket lines, from the ancestors you call heretics to our kitchen tables where we sat with chosen family, speaking our truths into becoming real. This world may pass bans, overturn laws, rewrite constitutions, threaten us, but our marriages were holy before they were licensed, and our identities were sacred before we had names. Today, again and every day, bless those coming out and those staying in. Bless the drag, bless the transitioning, bless the questioning, bless the kinfolk, bless our chosen families, bless us. Because we have faced ourselves, loved ourselves, saw ourselves, and we declare we are beauty and goodness and unicorns with a bit of rainbow and a lot of heart. We gather now in the wake of their efforts to erase as a sign that we are not so easy to erase, and knowing that we are literally love becoming. We were never meant to hide. We were always meant to blaze. Friends, I invite you, if you have a joy or a sorrow you would like to honor through a lighting of a silent candle, you are invited to come forward now. And please allow those with limited mobility the opportunity to come up first.
This morning's reading is a poem called Remain Incorrigible by Alok Van Medden. The body is a fleshy prison for the spirit. We transcend the arbitrary boundaries drawn around our skin. We are so much more than the physical. Our bodies are just mere suggestions, not ordained truths. Truth is polyamorous. Time is too. We are connected to the past, the future, the present, the people we are, the people we love. The world that surrounds us is us. Invisibility is not an objective state. It is a lack of ambition. Just because you don't see us as us doesn't mean we are not real. Reality surpasses vision. Our imagination is malnourished by a world that limits our potential to our ability to work and not our ability to love. One that relegates dreaming to our sleeping. What if we were to dream while we were awake? The hyper-individuation of the West crumbles beneath our feet and in our lungs. We desire past the confines of now. We reject their reason, and instead we are honest, painfully so, in our feelings. That behind every fact is a carousel of feelings. Behind every law is a panic attack. Behind every judge and every doctor and every politician is a broken heart. We yearn desperately for an otherwise. We begin that otherwise by surrendering to the complexity of ourselves and everyone around us. We use science to appreciate our potential, not restrict it. Biology proliferates, not imprisons. The natural disposition of the world is infinity. We are oriented towards multifaceted universes that exist beyond comprehension. We resist being known. We insist on being experienced, regardless of reason. There are as many ways to exist as there are existences. Everything lives. The stone beneath our feet, the clouds above us, nothing dies. It just transforms. It goes elsewhere. We are descendants of elsewhere. Stardust, skin cells, stray dreams. We spill outside of the containers they filter us through. We remain incorrigible, and impure, and delightfully contaminated. Porous and welcoming of all transitions, the refugees, the becomings, the future, the now.
Thank you, choir. That was beautiful. It's so wonderful to be with you this morning on this beautiful spring day. And I'm so glad that in the midst of yet another hard week on the national stage, I get to be here today to share some of the work that we at UUSC have the privilege of being involved in. At UUSC, we've been involved with a network of activists and organizations working to get trans and gender-expansive people out of unsafe states called the Pink Haven Coalition. How many folks here have heard of the Pink Haven Coalition? All right, great, we got some. Perhaps some of you saw the profile in UU World magazine a few years ago, or watched the presentation of the UUA's Volunteer Service Award go to the Pink Haven Coalition at General Assembly, or perhaps you've been involved in this work in some other way. Before I get into what the Pink Haven Coalition does, I need to start with why it exists in the first place. And this will be the hard part, but I promise you, soon we will get to the hope, joy, and power found in this community. Two-spirit, trans, and gender-expansive people have been targets of the right for decades, but the escalation in recent years is profound. 38 states currently have anti-transgender legislation on their books, and the number of new bills is growing by the day. Today, the ACLU is tracking 771 anti-LGBTQI bills that are in process in various state legislatures. Most of them are anti-trans laws. And just for some perspective, in 2015, the number of bills was 8. And of course, now the federal government has been weaponized against the trans community as well, with 7 executive orders coming out, taking target at our trans kin. These bills are trying to legislate trans and queer people out of existence. Please know that this isn't hyperbole. This has been central to the Republican platform for a decade. Michael Knowles said in his speech at the 2023 CPAC that transgender people must be eradicated from public life. Trump and other Republican candidates spent $215 million in the 2024 election cycle just on anti-trans ads. And as I said, since January 2025, Trump has issued 7 executive orders specifically targeting transgender and intersex people, seeking to revoke any legal protections, prevent them from obtaining necessary legal documents, and asserting that gender is an immutable and binary thing, though science established long ago that this is not the case. Because of these laws and the hostile environment that they create, trans people in the United States now meet the definition of internally displaced people, or IDPs, by the United Nations. Additionally, these laws and the misinformation and hateful rhetoric surrounding them embolden physical violence against trans people, in addition to the legislative, medical, and economic violence already heaped upon them. Hundreds of thousands of trans people and their families have already fled their homes to safer states, with more than 1 million considering doing so, according to a recent Data for Progress survey. Several years ago, an organization led by trans activists approached the UU Service Committee, or UUSC, and asked if we could help trans folks relocate to safer states. They saw the work that UUSC is doing with congregations in supporting asylum seekers, and they wondered if Unitarian Universalists had the networks, the infrastructure, and the desire to support a different kind of asylum seeker, one driven from their US-based homes and communities. And of course, we said yes. In this work with trans activists, we are in coalition with other progressive faith organizations, mutual aid groups, and others who are committed to fighting back against the rising tide of fascism in the United States. We are working together to create networks of safety and direct support for trans beloveds and their families who need to relocate, access health care across state lines, or stay as safe as possible where they are. What brought us to this place where trans folks are being scapegoated by the right, and states and now the federal government are actively trying to legislate them out of existence? A myriad of factors, to be sure, but one of the most prominent is the rise of fascism and authoritarianism in the United States. I hope that some of you were able to watch the Ware lecture at General Assembly last year, given by Imara Jones. She goes into this particular connection with more depth and knowledge than I can here, and it is well worth watching that recording. The Reverend Jim Vody addressed this phenomenon in his 2023 award-winning Skinner House sermon, Resisting Tyranny. He wrote, "Under fascism, you have an autocrat who believes in the cultural superiority and political supremacy of the country he leads. And he believes in the use of his concentrated power and unlimited violence to uphold the country's supremacy and its purity against perceived internal and external threats." In the 1930s in Germany, the made-up threat was the Jewish community. And right now in our own country, trans folks are the made-up threat of choice. It is no accident that the percentage of Jews in Germany in 1933 and the percentage of trans-identified adults in the US today is nearly identical. The strategy of demonizing a tiny, often misunderstood minority and using religion to do so is another tactic right out of the authoritarian playbook. Tyrants always punch down for political gain. The non-binary poet and activist Alok, who wrote the poem that Andy read, also writes, "The best way to eliminate a group is to demonize them, such that their disappearance is seen as an act of justice, not discrimination." Will you take a breath with me? This is heavy stuff. Trans, non-binary, and gender-expansive people have been chosen as the political scapegoat at this particular moment in time, not just because of their numbers compared to the cisgender population in the United States. It is also because of the power they hold. The power to topple a patriarchal system that absolutely depends upon binaries and hierarchy. From the moment we first take our first breath, our lives begin to be defined by the anatomy perceived by those around us. It's a boy or it's a girl. 3 words begin a cascade of rules and perceptions and expectations. As we grow, maybe these expectations seem perfectly comfortable, or maybe they only chafe sometimes, or maybe they are utterly suffocating. And the really insidious trick of enforcing a gender binary, of believing that reality is only black or white, this or that, is we soon learn to police ourselves. We become wardens of our own prisons because we have been so instilled with the fear of what will happen if we don't. There has been a multi-century PR campaign, said Alok in a recent interview, that tells us if we express ourselves and cultivate a life of authenticity, then we will suffer. So it is better to remain silent, to be still, and to fit into other people's ideas of who we should be. My friends, to cultivate a life of authenticity is a radical act of rebellion in this world. To do the introspective work necessary to ask yourself questions to discover who you really are and not who you were told that you are. This is the kind of life-affirming, soul-strengthening, community-celebrating work that everyone can do, that everyone should do. And our trans and gender-expansive kin are showing us the way. Trans and gender expansive beloveds, you are the prophets of the possible. You are showing us that gender is not binary or even a spectrum, but a galaxy of infinite incarnations waiting to be explored. The body is not a fleshy prison for the spirit, said Alok. We transcend the arbitrary boundaries drawn around our skin. We are so much more than the physical. There are as many ways to exist as there are existences. Please know that I'm not suggesting we do away with the concepts of man or woman. If you like them, if they fit you, or what you aspire to, wonderful. What I'm saying is that everyone should have the freedom to decide for themselves what these terms mean and whether they want to claim them from themselves or not. And also hear that none of this is new. Trans and gender expansive people have always existed, and they always will. The history of gender expansive people has often been deliberately erased or distorted by colonial powers. Many cultures around the world have 3, 4, or more genders in their societies. In India, hijras are not men or women or transitioning between the two, but a third gender altogether. They often live in communities with other hijras and train for years to perform sacred rites of dance, song, and blessings at weddings and birth celebrations. The British powers that colonized India in the 19th and 20th centuries felt that the existence of a third gender went against their Christian beliefs and named all hijras, of which there were millions, criminals in 1871. Colonial authorities were instructed to arrest them on sight. This colonial period of criminalization took a toll on the Hijra community, where even after independence and the repeal of the 1871 law, they are still excluded from much of mainstream Indian society. Decades of Hijra activism are changing this, however. In 2014, the Supreme Court of India stated, "It is the right of every human being to choose their gender." And the recognition of the Hijra is not a social or medical issue, but a human rights issue. Could you imagine our Supreme Court doing that right now? Many indigenous peoples in the Americas have two-spirit members who are said to possess both masculine and feminine energies. Two-spirit people are considered divinely blessed and often serve their communities as healers or shamans. Even the term two-spirit is an attempt to bridge Native American understandings of gender with Western colonial understandings of a gender binary. The term was coined in the 1990s by indigenous activists who were looking for a way to acknowledge the unique and specific ways various tribes viewed gender within the discourse of transness. So their experiences are related, but they're not the same. There are as many ways to exist as there are existences. The flood of anti-trans legislation can seem both overwhelming and diffuse, when it is in fact harming very specific, very real people. With the Pink Haven Coalition, we are seeking to protect two-spirit, trans, and gender-expansive lives. We are seeking to uplift trans joy as sacred and prophetic. We also mean this very broadly and very specifically. I had the immense privilege to act as a primary contact for a Pink Haven family who fled Texas following death threats from a neighbor after their daughter came out as trans. Putting whatever possessions fit in their car, they drove to a northern state with sanctuary protections for trans people. I and many other Pink Haven volunteers worked to secure them temporary housing, get grocery cards from local congregations, navigate a new public transportation system, and search for a new apartment of their own. The process took months and had a lot of bumps in the road, but they moved into their own place late last year. They will still need a lot of support as they continue to settle in and make connections in their new community. But as the mom, I'll call her Stacy, gave me a video tour of their tiny new apartment on FaceTime, she proudly showed off the very first piece of art on their living room wall, a large rainbow flag. I told Stacy that I was preaching about Pink Haven and asked if there was anything she would like to share. She said, "Pink Haven has helped me in so many ways, but most importantly, Pink Haven saved my daughter's life, aiding us to flee a state that was no longer safe for us in any way, shape, or form. All the people who helped and continue to help us really saved my little but strong family. We love y'all, and thank y'all so much. I've been a single mom their whole life, and Pink Haven is the first group of people who helped us. It brings tears to my eyes. It truly does take a village. It just took us a while to find ours." Friends, if you would like to be part of this village that is saving lives and uplifting trans joy, please visit pinkhaven.org or talk to me after the service. Your donations make it possible for families like Stacy's to get to safety and find the resources they need to thrive and survive. The requests for relocation assistance that Pink Haven gets continues to grow by the day, and we can only meet this need if the generosity of others continues to grow as well. Let us proclaim to the world that our trans, two-spirit, non-binary, genderqueer, and gender-expansive kin are whole, holy, and loved. You'll get a chance to express that generosity in a moment when the collection plate comes through. Now, beloveds, I would like to end with one of my favorite blessings written by Dory Midnight and Randy Farish Stewart. This blessing is written especially for us, my queer family, and I hope you will take it in. Allies and accomplices, you too can receive this blessing. I invite you to close your eyes or soften your gaze and move as the Spirit moves you. Perhaps gently place your hands over your face or your heart. Blessed are you, awakener, life of all worlds, who removes the sleep from my eyes and the slumber from my eyelids. Blessed are you, generous creatrix, who stretches forth upon the earth over the waters. Blessed are you, sacred flame, who illuminates and shines upon everyone and everything. Blessed are you, holy fashion designer, who delights in the way we dress ourselves as altars. Blessed are you, liberation worker, who moves us to stretch and expand towards freedom. Blessed are you, nameless and infinite, who made us in your image and reminds us that all bodies are sacred and holy. Blessed are you, wings of gold, who crowns my people, all people, with splendor. Blessed are you, holy breath, who fills me with this gift every day. Blessed are you, abundance, who helps me remember that I have everything I need. Blessed are you, the way, who meets me where I am. Blessed are you, source of life, who I draw on for strength and who reminds me that rest is a sacred act. Blessed are you, fabulous one, who loves me just as I am. Blessed are you, weaver of being, who shaped the human being with wisdom, making for us all the openings and vessels of the body. It is known that we are miracles, and all bodies are miracles. Blessed are you, you of many names, for revealing infinite paths of healing. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be.
Each Sunday, UUCR gives away half the money received in the collection plate to a nonprofit organization that shares our UU values. It is a simple yet powerful way for each of us to help heal the world. Our Share the Plate recipient for the month of May, as you may have just heard, is the Pink Haven Coalition. We have an official blurb for Pink Haven, but I think to share it at this point would be gilding the lily, as I don't think I could match the depth, passion, or knowledge that Reverend Laura just shared about Pink Haven. Our congregation survives and thrives through the gifts of those who call this place their spiritual home. If you are here with us in the sanctuary, you may put your gift in the plate as it goes by. Otherwise, you can make a gift online or send a check. Please give as generously as you're willing and able to our Share the Plate offering to support Pink Haven and the mission of UUCR. If this is your first time with us, please let the plate pass you by. Your presence is gift enough.
Thank you, Ruth, Bonnie. Good morning. I'm Rob Craig Coleman. I'm obviously not Melissa Martin. Melissa's so important to us that I managed to keep her name in the program even though it's her day off. I also want to thank Chris for his contributions to our music this morning, and to have 3 flutes making such beautiful music is especially wonderful today. And as always, thank you, choir, for your contributions, and thank you, Laura, so well spoken this morning. We appreciate your words. So, to our congregational life, a friendly reminder that our annual meeting will be held here in the sanctuary in 2 weeks, Sunday, May 31st, in lieu of our worship service, but also the opportunity to meet our new minister, Reverend Laura Gray. There will be a celebratory meet and greet after our annual meeting. In our congregational life this week, you're invited to join our weekly Buddhist meditation group, which meets both in person and via Zoom at 7:15 every Monday. And on Tuesday, May 19th, our online social crafty drop-in happens via Zoom from 7 to 9. Next Sunday, join us as we welcome back Reverend Mark Glovin, who leads our worship service entitled Lost and Found. Melissa will also be back to answer questions about upcoming community events, including, take note, Reading Pride Parade, Friends and Family Day, Juneteenth, General Assembly, North Shore Pride Parade, Porch Fest, which I'm told will include music on our very porch, summer programming, Ferry Beach. For all of that and much more, check your newsletter, please. And also, Melissa will give you more information next week. After our service today, our Love is a Verb social justice team welcomes John Lipted to collect ballot petition signatures for stipend reform. Visit their table in Fellowship Hall after worship service to learn more. And you folks from the UUSC will also have a table out in Fellowship Hall. Make sure you stop by and visit with them as well. And now please rise in body or spirit and join in singing our closing hymn, number 1018 in the green or teal hymnal, Come and Go With Me.
friends, won't you say with me our extinguishing the chalice words? We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. These benediction words by Jim McGaw, and then I invite people to remain seated during the postlude for a musical benediction. When I say go in peace, I don't mean go in mindless oblivion. When I say go in peace, I don't mean go without challenging yourself or others. When I say go in peace, I don't mean go in utter ease and comfort. When I say go in peace, I mean go in peace seeking justice. I mean go in peace committed to equal rights and opportunities for all. When I say go in peace, I mean go in the peace that is created when together we build communities of true solidarity, deep compassion, and fierce, unrelenting love. Go in peace.